Welcome back to Fallingfoxgaming, everybody. I'm your host Blaine, and today we're picking up with some more Kenshi. The swamp is cold, much colder than the border zone. The rain unrelenting. The people far more rude than those at the hub. It actually takes Oyer a little longer to adjust than he would have hoped. The people here don't seem to want him around very long. The plans were to have F0X and X16 head out into the swamp, and Oyer wait around in case they need help. This plan will not go very well, unfortunately. Those here in the swamp have been on guard ever since Oyer arrived. He's new, they've never seen his face before, they do not trust him. When they mentioned to the locals that he might be sticking around for a couple days, they seem to get tense. Oyer recognizes this and doesn't want to be a burden on anyone. He decides to head out with F0X and X16, despite the fact that this is going to be an arduous journey for himself. X16 and F0X make mention several times over that Oyer should keep his distance. If there's a problem, Oyer should be the first to get out of there. It's much easier to repair a robot, after all, than it is a human. Their journey so far down here in the swamp has led them to Rot, a small village, not very many people. The locals seem to have an understanding of what their mission is here, though. They seem to understand that while they're not friendly, or even neighbors really, they're here to put an end to some of the rabble. They mention that they need to head south, southwest particularly, or at least that's where they should start. Checking their map one last time as they exit the village, the people of Rot mention that there is a village to the south that may be worth checking out. They say that travelers seem to head to the center of the swamp. They never see them again, but that's more of a swamp issue than necessarily the village being dangerous. There's a small chuckle as the group leaves the camp, and they're not really sure why. In any case, as the group heads out, they need to be wary. Though they haven't seen anything hostile yet, it's only a matter of time before something crosses their path. Hopefully nothing they can't handle. In the distance, they approach the village that was mentioned to them in Rot. Quite curious, the village doesn't have a name or anything, and there are some lights on, so people must be home. Let's hope they're friendly. Thankfully, the village seems to be peaceful. They don't seem to want any trouble, and they let us pass without a problem. Taking a quick look around, let's have a pause for the roleplay here for a second. Let's see what we got. I am not actually familiar with any of the swamp stuff, so this is actually just kind of cool seeing stuff. Look at that! Bar. Live food. Wait, what do you mean live food? Okay. A bar. That's what's important. Now, I am genuinely curious of what kind of things we can find here in the swamp. There are several buildings we can actually purchase, which is kind of cool. Even this really big one right here. That thing's massive. Kind of want to go in and see what's in there. So let's take a look, see if they let us in. I want to see what kind of residential building we can actually purchase here potentially. Now, it says the town is called Mudtown. Does that change the name? It does. Okay, so this is Mudtown. Let's see what's in here. Okay, just empty. This is a cool building though. Look at this. It's a big circle dome. That's awesome. That might be one of my favorite building designs so far. That's really cool. Well, there's also a shop. Let's take a look to see what they have in the shop. More out of curiosity than anything, honestly. Not like we actually need to buy anything. Shop person? There we go. Wink. Let's trade. Okay, so they have books. They have all the kind of normal stuff. Straw flour. That's actually kind of rare. I haven't seen that really anywhere else. Same with the hashish. Oh, the narcotic. Okay. So they just have a bunch of drugs, like a lot of drugs. The mod that I have installed wow. The mod that I have installed ups kind of everything they have in stock. So this guy has almost 150. That's a lot. I mean, that's like a lot. Okay. But anyway, so it doesn't look like they have anything that we need, for this group. But it's good to know that they do sell stuff here. We need to definitely check out this bar. Here in the bar, the group finds a place to rest for the evening. The trip wasn't exactly far, but the terrain is difficult. Muddy water, thick brush, heavy rain. That is constant here in the swamp. Oyer is getting more and more tired and exhausted, honestly. He's prepared for fighting, he's prepared for running if need be, but he wasn't prepared for the climate here in the swamp. Almost exhausted to the point where he wants to just stay here in the tavern and take a break. X16 and F0X actually agree. This town, this little village here, Mud Town, seems to be a fantastic little place for Oyer to set up camp. The locals are quite friendly compared to Rot, and there are several locals that actually hang out here in the tavern to keep him company so he won't be sitting by himself. There seems to be a decent amount of gambling that goes on here as well. This place will make a great base camp for Oyer. X16 and F0X will head back out into the swamp very shortly, after a quick cleaning, that is. So, let's take a look at what we got. So, this little place, Mud Town here, is actually pretty awesome. It is pretty much centrally located in the swamp. Not quite dead center, but close enough anyways. We found another village on the way down here, over here, and I suspect there's stuff kind of more down this way because the pathways kind of lead down this way, so that's kind of where I'm going to head. I think that F0X and X16 can handle this on their own. Oyer, I think we need to keep him back in case something happens to these two. Now, I haven't run into anything hostile yet, and I mean nothing at all. So that does have me a little concerned that I don't actually know what I'm dealing with down here. So I am ooh, hey, I see blood. What's that? What's this guy? Swamp Ninja? Oh, what is that? Swamp Ninja? Is that one of these guys? No, these guys are different. They're completely different. Ooh, this must have been a bad guy. Ooh, did someone actually attack the town? Can we loot their body? I kind of just want to take their stuff. Is it a crime? I don't know. I'm going to try taking their stuff and see if it's a crime. Well, it doesn't seem to be a crime to loot their stuff, so I'm kind of glad we did that. Let's take a look at what they were wearing, though, because I don't actually know. So they had dyed rag shirts, that's garbage. Swamp Ninja mask. Interesting. Ooh, it does protect against dust storms and gas, though. That could be useful for someone. And a dyed turtleneck. So nothing actually useful at all, other than maybe the food and, I guess, a new sword. But we're going to go ahead and leave that as it is. But what we're going to do is we're going to head down south. Maybe we'll go check out this other village. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. The roleplay for the next few minutes here is going to be on hold because I actually just kind of want to see what's here in the swamp. I have a feeling that we're going to be fighting stuff here soon because there's wildlife everywhere in every biome, and I haven't seen any of it yet here. So I imagine there's got to be something lurking around the center area. I just don't know what it could be. I'm also noticing there's a lot more bones around here. Look at this. Like, what is this? What could this possibly be from? I don't want to actually know, now that I think about it. If I do know, I might be kind of scared to come this way. Ooh, here we go. Here's the village. So this is the next little village. Let's see what this is. Swamp Shack. Does it say who owns it? No. There's more. Hey, good. There's just more swampers. Perfect. So we found ourselves another little village. Seems to be friendly. Let's see if we can head out in here. Yep, no problem. Awesome. So we found ourselves a second little village where I don't think there's really anything to do here. But at the very, very least, Grey Flayer Village. Okay, I'm not sure what that means, but that's a very long title, so they probably fight something dangerous. You know, we're just gonna call it good. Glad we saw it. Let's take off. As X16 and F0X exit town, Oyer comes running out. He has some information for the group. It seems that there's actually a town to the south, a location that might be better served for all three of them to head to, a place that would make a base unnecessary. It's an actual town. Now, the three of them don't actually know where it is, they just know that it's to the south. Oyer heard from a random traveler that there's a town down that way, and it might be worth checking out, especially if they're interested in the local bandits, for better or worse. Here on our map, we've discovered the town of Shark. We must have gotten close enough to it to where it actually identified, so we're actually going to head that way. Now, I have actually seen a couple of blood spiders out this way now. This is actually the first time that I've actually seen some creatures, and I'm a little bit concerned about them because they actually look pretty tough. As they travel through the swamp, they begin to realize that they are much further in the swamp than they ever thought they would get to. There's been very little danger, and in fact, nothing has really threatened them this entire time. While the locals aren't friendly, they also don't seem to be dangerous. Now, they have come across a single corpse in the swamp, and in the distance they've seen a couple of the blood spiders. But so far, nothing to be wary of. We finally found a town, or so we've been told, and it looks like it. A rather large town. There's some defenses set up, many buildings, some shops. They have entered the town of Shark, or they're on the outskirts of it anyways. So let's take a look and see what we have here. We have the town of Shark. I think we should be welcomed. I don't see why we wouldn't be. Do these people have a faction? Let's see. Ooh, these are the hounds. Okay, so back to meeting the hounds. That's actually really good. So this town here may actually be a real town. A place where we can actually kind of, gather some information. The group finds himself in the Dancing Skeleton, the largest bar they've seen so far with the most inhabitants, and in all honesty, this place is quite crowded for any town they've actually seen. It seems as though this is a town that kind of welcomes everybody, and in fact, they seem to have, well, a little bit of a twisted sense of humor here. This is their sign, and I must say, it's pretty good. Now that we've been here a short time, we've actually had a few minutes to catch up with some of the locals, and they filled us in on a lot of little details, something that I wasn't actually fully expecting. We can actually talk to these people about all the different villages here in town. Between the Grey Flayers, the little swamp village down here, the mud town, Rot, all that. The only thing we can't ask them about is the bandit groups. They don't seem to know much, and every time we bring up the question, they seem to shy away from us. We need to actually spend some time here, gather some information, and figure out just who it is that we're up against. The people, being swampers and a bit isolated, seem to keep to themselves, and they kind of look out for one another, even if they are bandits. It seems like they have more of a loyalty to a local bandit than a stranger, so that's to be expected. So this town is actually quite large. Over here, we have the faction HQ over here in the back corner for the hounds. We have the Black Shifters bar over here, and then we have a little trading hub here, and then some residential buildings, some of which we can actually buy. Now, I don't see any normal shops. I think I saw one over here. Yeah, we have a general shop right here. So this is an actual town. It's not just a tiny little village. They do seem to have some pretty good guards floating around here. I have noticed since I've been here that they get attacked a little more frequently than I'd probably like by spiders. I saw a blood spider come up this way, and the guards killed it before it got into town, thankfully, but it does beg the question of how safe this place really is. I feel if you're not paying attention, you might get killed by a blood spider, so something to keep in mind. This is an awesome place to head up our search for the two bandits we're looking for, Shade and the Red Bandit. Unfortunately, no one here is willing to give us any information, so we're going to have to do some searching on our own. But we're going to actually pause for our little group here. Oyer, F0X, and X16 are going to have to do some research. What that means is we're going to head back over to Fox. Now, Fox has been here at the hub, talking and planning with many of the locals. A lot of people are showing up, as I mentioned, a lot of dust bandits, even some starving bandits, people that are now claiming to be just travelers, though some of them have familiar enough faces that we believe they are potentially ex-bandits. The trade routes are about to kick off and are about to arrive for the first time. We're getting our first shipment of building materials to start rebuilding some of these buildings that have been purchased on our behalf by Marty Von Masters. Now, Marty is interesting. He paid for all these buildings, but his name's not on any of the contracts. Fox is. When the deeds were signed over, Fox was honestly expecting Marty to take possession of some of these buildings, at least some of them, because, when you're throwing money down, on the table for, rebuilding a town, you would think you'd either want credit or at least ownership of the buildings, but he has not done that. And that has begun to kind of bug Fox a little bit. Fox has brought this up to Marty several times, and Marty just kind of shies away from the question and makes mention that he doesn't care about the honor or anything of it. He just wants to see Hub thrive. Fox is still a little bit on edge of that demeanor. Now, it's really hard to say that somebody can be truly that benevolent. Fox wants to believe it would be wonderful if somebody was truly that nice. But from what Fox has seen in, well, not just the border zone, but all the lands, no one around here is really that friendly. Even Fox has, gone out of his way to kill and attack many people that have, caused problems. So even Fox isn't that innocent. To that end, with the Hub robot guarding, he's killed many bandits already as well, Fox thinks he's going to head back to base. Fox looks around Hub and notices that we have some good guards now. With the new crew up here guarding this entrance and the Hub robot defending the other, no one can enter Hub without some form of security check. All the locals are starting to band together and organize small patrols and small militias to keep out the rabble. This will be a community soon, hopefully. As Fox leaves behind Hub on his way to explore a little bit and, in all honesty, just kind of take a break from everything, he pauses for a minute to consider how New is currently in a leadership position. He has never been in one before, and Fox hopes that he does a great job. He has no reason to distrust New. New has done a fantastic job and has been a great ally. The problem is this Marty character. Marty's going to be whispering in his ear the entire time they're at the Hub, and with New overseeing the projects here, Fox feels he wants to keep a closer eye on this place than he has in the past. But at the same time, he doesn't want New to think that he doesn't trust him. So for now, Fox is going to head back to base and oversee the caravans. He may even come in with a caravan every now and then, just to check in on things, just to make sure things are going smoothly. For now, that is where this is going to end. We're going to take a break and call this a session. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Next time we come back, we're going to do some fixing up of Hub, and we're going to do a couple other entertaining things. So look forward to that. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time.